For over 27 years here in Tuscaloosa, Catfish Heaven has been pleasing our taste buds with their delicious catfish, pan trout, hot wings, coleslaw, hush puppies, and don't forget about those made-to-order French fries. Whether it's your snack time, lunchtime, or dinner time, give the guys a call over at Catfish Heaven at 205-752-7222, or you can make your order online at catfishheaventuscaloosa.com. So head on over to Catfish Heaven at 2502 21st Street. See you there.
Head on down to Archibald and Woodrow, some of the best barbecue in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, y'all. Right off of 4125 Greensboro Avenue, Tuscaloosa, Alabama 35405. You can hit them up at 205-331-4858. Also, you can find them at their other location, 1211 Martin Luther King Boulevard, Northport, Alabama 35476. 205-345-6861.
Tastes so good, make you want to slap your mama.
What up, y'all? Comedian Funny Man, and this is nice, right? This pretty nice. That's pretty nice. But you know what's even nicer? A comedy show in Tuscaloosa, July 30th at McKinstry Banquet Hall. I'm coming through with my homies, man. TK Perry, Lamar Pullum, Tony Tone. Hey, we back outside. We back outside, coming to Tuscaloosa for a comedy show, post-pandemic comedy show. And it's going to be funny. Go ahead and get your tickets. It's going to be live. It's going to be the place to be. And why not do it in Tuscaloosa? As y'all can see, I am in Alberta City right now. I'm in Alberta City right now. So I'm going to make that short drive over to McKinstry Banquet Hall, July 30th. Get your tickets. Post-pandemic comedy show. Your boy Funny Man will be there. And it's going to be rocking. Love me some Tuscaloosa. Love Alberta. I'll see y'all there July 30th.
District 7 has now come to a crossroad. We have to have a leader that we can trust. My work isn't done.
Sonia has proven herself. Everything I've asked her to do within the last 8 years, she's done. If it's not broken, don't try to fix it. That's why I'm supporting her.
We need someone who can continue helping the city of Tuscaloosa and this district to grow. Sonia is the person to do that for us. She is professional, she holds people accountable, and she is trustworthy.
I am for Sonia.
I know the direction we're going. I know the funding opportunities that are there. We need to have continued leadership that knows where they're going, and I can take you in the right direction. To start over with inexperienced leadership pushes our district back. We don't deserve that. We have sidewalk projects, we have LED lighting upgrades, we have drainage projects that are out there waiting to be funded. This is not a game. I need to get back to work. So on July 27th, I have a plan, and there are things on the table that are there waiting for me to continue to advocate for you.
Tuscaloosa, get ready for the T-Town Labor Day Blues and Groove Festival. Saturday, September 4th at Socone Park, featuring TK Soul, Abel Hollywood,
Is you 25 and more?
Magic One, Jay Hammer, Miss Jody, Donnie Ray, and the J. Morris Morris Group. Gates open at noon. Showtime 2 p.m. It's all hosted by MC Sir Anthony. Bring your tents, coolers, lawn chairs, and RVs. Vendors are welcome. Kick off your Labor Day weekend at the Blues and Groove Festival, starring TK Soul, Lavelle Hollywood, Magic One, Jay Hammer, Miss Jody, Donnie Ray, and the J. Morris Group. Saturday, September 4th at SoCo Park in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. For tickets and vendor info, call 205-872-2113.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the all-new T-Town 411 Report. I'm your host, Darren McKinstry. We're live here from McKinstry Banquet Hall. I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight, and we're also broadcasting live on Soundbooth Radio and Soundbooth TV. Mike, tell them how can they sound in on Soundbooth Radio?
So, man, Daryl, all you got to do to sign in on Soundbooth Radio 106.1 is go to your iOS or your Google Play Store and download the Live 365 app. That's Live, L-I-V-E 365. Once you download that free app, then you search in the search bar Sound Booth Radio 106.1, and that'll get you on with us every day. And of course, you can go on the YouTube channel as well, Sound Booth TV, or just type in Sound Booth Radio on YouTube, and it'll bring you directly to Sound Booth TV on YouTube. Of course, we got Soundbook TV here on Facebook as well, so there's 3 different options for you.
Yes. Well, thank you for all you do, Mike. I want to thank our producer, DJ Camilo Hare, for sticking with us for this month, for getting the show out and produced and everything. I want to say hello to Daniel Van Horn, Kenny Chambers. How you doing, sir? Veronica Taylor, and all the other guests that have chimed in. Of course, Veronica has given us our COVID-19 update as of 3:02 today. 17, let me repeat that, 17 inpatients within the DCA system are positive for COVID-19. 8 inpatients who are positive for COVID-19 being treated in ICU. 5 or fewer who are positive for COVID-19 on ventilators, and 5 or fewer who are positive for COVID-19 on BiPAP. Quick prayer for everyone. Heavenly Father, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to share information, gain knowledge. Heavenly Father, we ask that you go into the hospitals and heal the ones that we ask that in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Heavenly Father, we ask that you go with the bereavement families. Look over our city. Look over our country. Continue to look over our young people. In your Son, Jesus Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
17, Mike. We're up. We're up from 8 to 17. It's not gone yet, y'all. And we're gonna talk about the subject we had, but we're gonna talk about this for a few minutes. COVID-19 is not gone yet. And we've been saying this. And I think it's beginning to be, you know how we kind of downplayed it last year when it first came out? Oh, it ain't gonna do this. Oh, it ain't gonna do that. Or we weren't expecting to hit Alabama as quick as it did. I think this increase need to be taken seriously right now. I mean, it's like,
I totally agree with you.
Let's just go ahead and start doing what we know is best, and that is go back to wearing our masks, sanitizing stations, cut down on the crowd control. And I'm the first one to say that because, hey, I run a business that, multiple people can come to. But cut down on the crowd control, know your limits. That's safe for people to attend, I think. We got to start thinking back what we know. We know that works. Low numbers, sanitizing, and masks, and vaccination. All 4 of those, Mike.
But in
and to be honest with you, we still got so many people that don't want to get vaccinated. And here recently, we just found out that it's a total of 12 people that's been getting on social media sites. It's like it's their job to denounce the vaccines, and um, so all of the conspiracy theories and everything that's been going around has been linked to 12 people on social media platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't want, and so they're spreading misinformation about the vaccinations. It is the numbers don't lie in the aspect of even if you were to get COVID, if you have taken the vaccine, then more than likely you don't even have the symptoms, and you definitely not going into the hospital, and definitely not being put on bypass. So that's part of the numbers all in itself. But everybody who is going into the hospital and still dying from this moment have, I want to say 100% have been people who have not been vaccinated. So that should tell you something all in itself. The numbers are not lying. We're in a situation now where we might have let the genie out the bottle way too fast as far as allowing people to get back to their normal lives. It is going to be almost impossible to go back and say, hey, you know what? We said that y'all can stop wearing masks, but probably y'all need to go ahead and start wearing those masks again. Right now, it is definitely those people who wear masks in the minority. There are still some people who go out, they wear their mask regardless, and they've been vaccinated. Personally, I've been vaccinated. I wear my mask when I go out, but I see more people that don't than I see people that do.
Well,
and that's the reason why we're up almost 50% right now at DCH.
Veronica said hugging and touching and all that. Places are mandating masks again. Houston went up by over 1,800 in one day. 1,800 COVID cases in one day. But here's what I'm hearing, Mike. Now, this is what I saw in the news earlier today. I think 33 or 42 channel news. The younger generation, the 12-year-old attending camp, unvaccinated, got COVID in the hospital.
Yes,
fighting for his life.
It's the younger people now that are getting the COVID-19 virus. And here's the thing: most of the young people are not even getting vaccinated. Like they haven't, because for in the beginning it was an old person virus. It only affects old people. Well, this Delta variant, it is more powerful, is now taking a toll on young people. Not so many older people are getting it because, truthfully, a lot of older people went and got that vaccine.
Right.
So once again, it still falls back upon the numbers. If you look at the numbers, it tells you that, hey, the vaccine is actually working. There's a whole lot of conspiracy theories out there. Like, we still got people saying that they got microchips in the vaccine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all that kind of stuff, man. Look, they got the microchip already on us. We just don't realize we carry our cell phones everywhere we go.
Absolutely.
So they ain't got to inject it to.
Small they're gonna get a microchip. They're not gonna get a microchip so small that they can go in a syringe.
Well, I'm just saying, the if they worried about being kept up with, well, we already kept up with the cell phone. When they invented the cell phone, they know right where you at right now. They can they can go up on the tower and tell what vicinity you in and everything. So, I mean, what do you think all this Google Maps and stuff like that is for? I mean, it's like they can pinpoint exactly where you're at right now. So if you're worried about that, that's irrelevant to that. Veronica said,
We're broadcasting right now, Daryl, and I guarantee you that our videos are geotagged. So they know exactly where we at right now.
Exactly. And think about this. When y'all do your Saturday Night Heat and you play this copyrighted music that you think who will be listening or watching out for something like that in
30 minutes after we start, they cut us right off.
Yes, 2 minutes. Sometimes they'll put a mute sign up there or saying this, send you a message. So all that is already taken care of. Veronica say, let's see. I watch a celebrity meet and greet, and you could count the people wearing masks. Plus, they don't wear them properly. They tell all your business. What if your location is off? Listen, tonight we was going to talk about, and I'm gonna go ahead and say this while I want Daniel Van Horn. I see he's on here. I want him to join in on this conversation if he can. But let me go ahead and say this. Remember, I told you on Thursday, I say it's going to be over tonight. So I know some people watching the basketball game or will be watching it. It's over tonight. Okay?
I think so.
It's over tonight. I'm just go ahead and say that. I said it Thursday. I'm going to say it again today. It will not be a game 7. There don't need to be a game 7. This will be the end of it. I don't care who wins, Bucks or Suns, whichever one. But, hey, it's over tonight. What we do have, and we will have Sonia McKinstry on the program with us on this coming Thursday. Let me go ahead and talk about that right quick. The election is next Tuesday. Thank you. And this has been a long 7 months. And we just want people to get out and vote. Of course, I'm going to ask for your vote for Sonia if you live in the district. And we're going to try to get this on over with and keep moving the city in a direction. But tonight, Mello, you got our video. Do you have our video lined up that we showed? Well, tonight we're talking about the prison system, and I don't know how it happened. A guy actually videotaped inside the prison the conditions of people sleeping on the floor, toilets stopped up. We're going to watch the video. Mello, is our video ready to go? And some of you might have watched it earlier. Let's see.
Might take a second to cue it up there, Darryl.
Okay, queuing it up. But, the question today I put out was it humane? Was it inhumane? Or the conditions that people were seeing in that video and listening to the young man as he was narrating. We're fixing to watch this. We're going to watch the video and then we'll comment about it in just a second. We'll contact. Hold on. Okay, the video is ready. Go ahead, caller. Hello. Oh, that's David. Let's watch the video right quick, and then we'll have. I mean, it's Daniel. We'll have you come in just a second. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mala.
Bibb County Correctional.
Yeah.
Bibb County Correctional Facility. We got to wash clothes in a mop bucket. Send clothes to the laundry, come back more dirtier than what they are. Over here you got a mat on the floor. Look at this guy living on the floor. Mat, it's pitiful. Yeah. There go a guy living on the floor, sleeping on the table. There go another guy on the floor, sleeping. Yeah, Bibb County Correctional Facility. Guys on the floor sleeping. It's pitiful. I mean, what more do they want to come in, and have a mass release and let these folks go? Homeless in prison, come on, they supposed to provide everything, for us. Mats on the floor, guys living on the floor, sleeping on the floor. Washing clothes in a mop bucket because you can't send them to the laundry. Let's go to the bathroom. Look at this. Look at the toilet. Well, the urine trap. Nasty. Rusted out. Shower nasty. Mold all on the wall. Look at that mold. Look at that mold. Mold everywhere. I have to bathe in bleach and soap. Look at the ceiling. Mold everywhere. Filthy. The urine trap. This toilet been stopped up for a whole month. They won't even come fix it. This toilet been stopped up for about a week. They won't even come fix it. Y'all give me the DOJ.
Well, Mike, you seen it. You've seen it. You witnessed it. Is it humane or insane or inhumane of these conditions? Put the number up. If you'd like to call in on this, please do. 205-826-7661. Get you in contact with us here on the program, or 310-6067. Daniel, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Hey, Daniel, how you doing, man? Hey, good evening, Mike.
This your specialty. This your specialty. The Department of Justice, a prison system. What's going on, man?
Well, I'll say this: when I seen the video, it was something I'd seen every day when I went inside myself. But the cell phone is contraband. But for them to have to live like that, I would say an officer that tries to keep it clean and keep the mold down would be the first officer that they put out the door. And one that don't care, that's very inhumane. And I dealt with the same thing when I worked there, people sleeping in the floor, sleeping in the classroom. Now, when I worked at Bill County Correctional Facility, it wasn't as bad as I seen in that video. But that is just to the extreme, because what I recall from working as a correction officer at 7 o'clock in the morning, you have what we call a cleaning crew. And they get all the supplies that they need to clean the showers, mop the floors, sanitize the place. But that place looked like it ain't been sanitized since 2008. And that is unacceptable. Those vents in the bathroom, that's why you have so many illnesses and sickness, is living in all that mold and that filth. But the Department of Justice needs to step in. It needs to be closed. If that's how they allow those inmates to live there, just because you committed a crime don't mean you have to live in hell while you here.
Now, he used the word homelessness inside prison. I thought that was kind of strange. He used the word homelessness.
And I'll tell you what he mean by that. If you don't have a bunk bed, that's just like you don't have a home on the street. I know exactly what he was talking about. And to see people lying on the floor, that is homelessness in the prison.
Well, some people now, after I found the video and someone had posted it and showed it to me. After I looked into it, I seen several comments back and forth. You seen some people saying, well, what did they expect? I mean, prison is not supposed to be a 5-star hotel where they got, food brought to them. And then you got some people saying this is awful or this is horrible or this is inhumane, like you're saying. But then you got people that are victims of crime on the other side.
And then you got people that are actually innocent that's in there. So the thing about it, those people that think that it's not a 5-star hotel, I'll say this. Those people get out of prison. And ain't no telling what kind of different afflictions that could come from that by them being in there. Just like how we have the COVID right now. Okay, it might not show up until after they get out of prison, living in conditions like that. You have to make sure anywhere somebody stays, whether it's prison, jail, it still got to be sanitized and sanitary enough to live there on cohabity.
Well,
and, for anybody to say,
you're breaking up a little bit.
I think we might have lost him. Darryl, I'm on the same page as Daniel there in that aspect of, I understand that they might be inmates, but that does not take away their human rights. As a human being, you have certain rights. That they have to, in war, you have certain rights. If you're a prisoner of war, they have to treat you a certain type of way. They can't just be any kind of way. So
Mike,
having said that, we over here in the United States of America, and these people living in straight up filth, they live like mold. Like if you're in a house or an apartment right now and there is mold in there, they actually have you move out of it until they can restore it. There's no difference than being in that prison.
Well,
they can't even have somebody living in that stuff. That gives you all type of respiratory problems. And once they get out of prison, you know what I'm saying, that's a long-term situation that they got to deal with.
So,
now, I'm not saying that you're supposed to.
Okay, I think Dan,
go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's clearly a long-term situation that they have to live. But the thing is this, well, they're talking about building more prisons. I think they need to take care of the ones they have. In order to take care of the ones they have, they need better staffing. They need to go back and reassign people that clean the dorms in the morning time. Evidently, there's no type of cleaning being done. And then to see him on there washing his clothes on the video when there's a laundry room, number one, that mop bucket should be considered contraband. Because once you're done mopping in the morning time, all that stuff's supposed to be put out. It becomes a weapon.
Dan, we can't count on you breaking up kind of on the bad side.
All right, well, y'all go ahead and talk and give me just a minute to see what's going on this team.
Okay. I see DeAndre X on the show, on the program. Call in, DeAndre, what you think? Tell us what you think. Of course, it's overcrowding going on in prison, without a doubt, as well as in the county jails. And Alabama has been listed as one of the states that has a serious issue of taking care of their inmates. Understaffed, overworked by the employees, and underpaid, of course. But at the same time, these are the conditions that people has allowed to go on. Other than unstopping the toilets, call in somebody else, please. Hey, y'all seen the video. We'll show it again if we need to. Unstopping the toilet, cleaning the mold, and getting, I guess, better laundromat or better washing machines. So, and some more bunks. Now, some people didn't even have a little mattress pad. Someone was just sleeping on slab floor, concrete. the ground. But no one asked the question of one thing right here, Mike. This man is videotaping a cell phone inside a prison dorm.
Like Daniel said, it is, but that mop bucket should be considered contraband. So you know, yeah, we know that they have stuff like that in there, and they're not supposed to have it. And quite possibly, he get caught with it. You know, somebody see this particular video, he probably gonna experience some sort of punishment. But I think that he probably felt like the risk was worth it to try to get it out there.
What's going on? What's going on in the inside? Cat Jackson, we want to say hello to you. If you got questions or if you want to make a comment, please give us a call. 826-7661 or 310-6067. Join the conversation. You witness it. Let me see, can Mello, go ahead and cue up the video one more time. We want to show it just full screen this time. Take us out the background. And let's some of the people that just chiming in watch it one more time on and see what their comments will be in witnessing. This is in Bibb County Correctional Facility that's taking place. The conditions as of right now.
Was Bibb or was it Shelby? I thought it said Shelby.
No, that is Bibb County Correctional Facility.
Okay.
Here in Bibb County, Alabama. If he could cue it up one more time, okay. We're gonna watch it one more time.
Bibb County Correctional Facility. We got to wash clothes in a mop bucket. Send clothes to the laundry, come back more dirtier than what they are. You know. Over here, you got a mat on the floor. Look at this guy living on the floor. Mat, you know, it's pitiful. Yeah. There go a guy living on the floor, sleeping on the table. There go another guy on the floor, sleeping. Yeah, Bibb County Correctional Facility. Guys on the floor sleeping. It's pitiful. I mean, what more do they want to come in, you know, and have a mass release and let these folks go? Homeless in prison, come on, they supposed to provide everything, you know, for us. Mats on the floor, guys living on the floor, sleeping on the floor. Washing clothes in a mop bucket because you can't send them to the laundry. Let's go to the bathroom. Look at this. Look at the toilet. Well, the urine trap. Nasty. Rusted out. Shower nasty. Mold all on the wall. Look at that mold. Look at that mold. Mold everywhere. I have to bathe in bleach and soap. Look at the ceiling. Mold everywhere. Filthy. The urine trap. This toilet been stopped up for a whole month. They won't even come fix it. This toilet been stopped up for about a week. They won't even come fix it. Y'all give me the DOJ.
Now, we're back. We're back. DeAndre, come on, join the conversation, my friend. He said, pay close attention to details in the video and what he is saying. Veronica said if she builds 3 more, it probably won't be any better. And aren't they in a lawsuit? Sadly, Mississippi had one far worse. Yes, okay.
I'm willing to bet you, having worked there, that's either B dorm, D dorm, or A dorm. Because they have what you call a faith-based dorm, they have an education dorm. They're not going to let those go decapitated like that. But from looking at that video and remembering working in that prison, that's B dorm, Bibb County Correctional Facility.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, I seen the mops. I seen the mop. I seen the brooms. I didn't see any cleaning supplies. But is it possible that these guys supposed to have been on a detail to clean these facilities at the time?
No, sir. When they clean the facilities, everybody is out on the yard, except for about 5 or 6 guys. And it's gonna be 6 guys, because there's gonna be about 2 in each bay of the dorm. You got bay 1, bay 2, bay 3. What it looks like to me is this is more of a downtime right before they go to chow, when they eat in the evening time. This look like that time of day there, because that's when they have a lot of time to do a lot of things that they do, because they're locked down right before chow. So it's definitely in the daytime, right before it last chow call.
You know, I was watching some of the comments, and you know, you can hit me up, and if you want to see some of the comments, but some of the comments that I seen, some people were cruel. I mean, you know, for the comments about the inmates, and then there were some that were sympathetic to the comments about the conditions. I don't think any of the people that were saying the conditions weren't, well, it was. I take that back. I think the conditions look more horrible than it makes you think, okay, we here in America and we can't let people live this way or shouldn't live this way, and we're giving money to Afghanistan, Iran, Egypt, blah, 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 and we can't even keep our own facilities in a livable condition. But people also saying that those are the consequences of committing the crime. Now, and you say, hold on, I know what you're finna say. And I'm not saying everybody that's in prison is guilty of the crime that they've done. But this tool should reach out to, this should be a scare scrape video right here to tell young men and young women that you don't want to go to prison. This should be a valuable tool used as a resource to try to encourage young people not to want to be a part in this particular situation.
And it also could be used as a tool of empathy in order to make sure if people do have to be incarcerated, they should not be inhumane.
Okay, but let me say this right here. And I guess I'm thinking from a law enforcement point of view. How many people would say if you were a victim of crime, either through death of a family member, through tragedy, such as gun violence or personal murder, assault, and you saw an individual that did the crime, and you see what he was doing in that particular, sleeping on the floor or whatever. How would you feel? Do you feel that he's being punished justly or injustice?
I would call it double jeopardy. Number one, if he's convicted of the crime, then he's going to do the same. But he shouldn't have to live like that. That's double jeopardy to have to live inhumane and cause other health issues to a person.
Yeah, I think that's pretty close to being tortured right there, Daryl. And once again, the long-term effects of just breathing in mold spores and having to use a bathroom that's unsanitary. You know, there's a lot of other little viruses and diseases that you can get that way. So, you know, that's definitely inhumane. And you know, you're not supposed to be able to do stuff to prisoners. Although, you know, if that was the case, then why not let them beat them? Why not let them, you know, do whatever they want to them? The hose pipes,
The whips,
electric stuff, yeah, all of that. Why not let them do that? If you just gonna let them live in filth like that, that's, you know, and why would you want to? Like the smell got to be terrible up in there. Mold give off a bad smell all in itself. But then we dealing with a urinal that is not running. We dealing with toilets that's overflowing with feces.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they have to stay in it. The ammonia smell. You ever been to a house with somebody that got a lot of pets?
Yeah.
And the ammonia, when you walk in and the ammonia hitting you in the eyes, that's the same thing that's going on in there.
Well, there's locally situations like that. I can just tell you, there's locally situations that are similar to those conditions right here in Tuscaloosa, man. I mean, I guess the word I want to use is, what do you do? What I mean, people that sent letters to the Department of Justice, they filed lawsuits. The Department of Justice and said, okay, Governor Ivey, we're gonna take over your prisons. First of all, Dan, you still there? First of all, they understaffed to do anything. When you got 5 people in one pod, I'm assuming, and I'm assuming another 25 to 30 inmates. And
I thought the number was bigger. I think Daniel still is on the line. Is the number of inmates to COs?
Okay. Each bay have over 300 people in each bay at Bill. So you're talking about 29 officers to 2,300 plus inmates.
Well, let me ask you this: what we just saw, that little area where we just saw, what would you assume how many people, inmates, will be in that particular that area?
Over 100 in that one dorm.
Okay.
And they want over 100.
Now we seen one guy in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Rolling away. And one guy that was washing his clothes had his face covered up because he didn't want to be seen. The number, once again, DeAndre, 205-826-7661. Call 205-826-7661. That'll get you in contact with me here on the program.
Like I said, that was just before chapel.
And I would think, and Daniel, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, because I've actually never been in prison, but would you think that pretty much did that because when they do their little inspections and everything, they don't take them in those areas. They take them to like the nice shiny areas that look all nice and clean.
First of all, they don't do things like that. They talk to people when they come, they go about the business. And the only place they're going to take a to the face, that's going to be one. They're not going to be the one, pay the woman, be the one. It's not going to happen. But they see a fancy because, I mean, at the end of the day, they don't check the They don't check if these things work. They do not.
We got DeAndre X on the phone with us. Go ahead, DeAndre. What's your comment tonight?
First, let me say this. What I'm gonna say, I am not taking up for the Department of Correction, but I'm gonna speak a truth. Now, you got, are they understaffed? Yes. Are some of the conditions inhumane? Yes. Have I been to Bill County? No. But I did 8 years, well, 7 at Draper Correctional Facility in Montgomery, one of the worst prisons it is. And they used to call it the Thunderdome when I was there because there were all the young people that loved to fight. That where they had most of the fighters and troublemakers at. But to understand what you're looking at is, like Daniel was saying earlier, is depending on what dorm it is. Now, when I was at Draper, I'm gonna lay a base, then I'm gonna come back and deal with that video.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was at Draper, you had an intake dorm, which was called the Farm Squad dorm, where those guys that every morning their job was they went out on the farm squad, they was under the gun, go out in the fields, work, come back in, eat, go back out in the fields, they on the hot sun all day. And those was the guys pretty much just coming in, or people who had been in prison for a while and got in trouble, and they got sent back to that dorm. Then you had what, like Daniel was saying, a school dorm. Then you had at Draper a drug treatment dorm. Then you had a regular dorm and an honor dorm. Now, the dorm that looked pretty much like the one that's on that video, that's the Farm Squad dorm. And you have to think on it like this. Those guys just coming in, those are the guys that haven't got into the system good yet. They still got that gang mentality. They still want to do what they want to do. These are the same ones coming from houses that their mama couldn't get them to clean up. They don't like to flush the toilet stool at home. They don't want to keep their room clean at home. Most of the things that they did at home, them habits them followed them to prison, and they ain't got broke in yet, so they all of them in that same dorm. And they really don't care because they got to go out on that farm squad every day. Okay, now, so that dorm pretty much stay nasty. The other dorms are a little bit more cleaner because you done kind of moved up a little bit. You done got used to the prison. You're around more positive thinking people who done did more time. They want to keep their area clean, so the bathrooms and stuff don't look like that. Now, not to take up too much time, if you go back to that video, and like I said, I'm not taking up for the Department of Correction because it is some inhumane conditions. But now, you got the first thing you got to do is, what's the motive behind that video? Because you got to realize too now, you're dealing with people who got good game. What's the motive behind the video? The motive behind the video, he said it in the video. He said, what is it going to take for a mass release?
Mm-hmm.
So that's his motive, mass release. Try to get a mass release. It ain't for better living conditions for people who have committed a crime that got to do time. He's talking about a mass release. So that's the motive of the video. Okay, now, another thing you got to pay attention to in the video is, he said, when I take a shower, I have to use soap and bleach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now you go back and watch that video again and pay attention to all the details. Okay, you seen the guy washing the clothes in the mop bucket. I'm gonna come back to that. But if you pay attention when you go in that bathroom, you're gonna see a mop, you're gonna see brooms,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna see scrub brushes,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna see all type of cleaning tools to clean. Now, if you got Clorox and you got scrub brushes with long handles on it, now you can keep that bathroom clean. Now you have, like Daniel said, you have bathroom, you have not bathroom cleaners, but dorm cleaners. Everybody don't check out and go to a particular job or go to school. You have some people, like he said, stay back and have to clean the dorm. They're supposed to clean it. At Draper, they're supposed to clean it at least 3 times a day, or if something is needed, then they're supposed to clean it because that's their job. So if the dorm look like that, that means they need some new dorm cleaners because they're not doing their job. Like I said, all the bathrooms was the same at Draper, but depending on the mindset of those who were in the dorm, depending on the condition of the same bathroom, because I've seen them same bathrooms be real clean. Same bathroom. Some of the rest, you ain't gonna stop that. You know, with all that metal stuff in there, you're not gonna stop that. But that mold and all that type of stuff, like you said, they got Clorox. They got Clorox cleaning supplies. They got mop buckets. They washing their clothes. They got plenty of mop buckets because they washing their clothes in them. So now about the clothes, people wash their clothes in those clothes buckets. And like he said, when they send them clothes to the laundry, they do come back. It's like if I was at home and I have a white T-shirt and I wash my white T-shirt with the clothes I've been working on my car in. The T-shirt might be clean, but it's gonna be dingy. So pretty much that's what happened to all the clothes. All those clothes being washed together with the farm clothes, with this and another, they're not gonna come back. If you wanted some, they didn't have the brown when I was there. Everybody had white, but the people who had fresh, what we call fresh white on, were people who washed their clothes in the dorm with the soap that they provided us with the baby with. That's how you kept them white. If you wanted them white, you had to wash them yourself because you send them down up to the laundry, they're gonna come back like a dingy T-shirt that's been washed with a bunch of dirty clothes, like the same way if you do it at home like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the condition of that dorm is like that because they dorm cleaners ain't keeping it clean. They ain't doing their job. And ain't nobody making them do their job. And like Daniel said, that's probably one of them dorms when they after food so much they don't even like to go in there where they at. Like I said, I'm not taking up for Department of Correction. But to make a long story short, pretty much that's what's going on. Because they got the supplies. You watch the video, they got the supplies now to clean it up.
Yeah, I mentioned that. I saw the mop, the brooms, and different other tools.
And he said they got bleach. So if they were to keep them walls clean and clean them, the dorm cleaner were to clean those walls like they supposed to, then that little black stuff in them crevices, what he's talking about, that being people crevices because they don't clean their bathroom at home, they do the same thing in prison. You can go to people's house and see that same stuff in them crevices because they don't clean their shower out. And the white stuff that's on the floor in the showers, they're gonna have that after every time people shower because of the type of soap that they use. It's gonna leave that in the shower until they get clean. So you ain't gonna stop that.
Mm.
And and anybody with sense, one of the rules you don't go in there and take no shower without your shower shoes on and all that other type of stuff. Everybody be in there taking shower stuff. And then them toilet stools, yeah, like I said, these the same kids, the same people who don't like to flush the toilet stool at home. People got to remember how many times you have to get on your child about flushing the toilet, putting all that toilet paper and paper towels and all that type of stuff. These the same men that, and for a cell phone, Daryl, when I was in there, I seen that ain't half of what's in there.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine.
I mean, I done seen a Derringer, I done seen a gun in prison. I done seen plenty of weed, all type of knives, Derringer. I'm talking about everything that's on the street, pretty much in there. So I mean, and a lot of them go back. A lot of them go back because prison, really, the way it is now, it's really like a big project. When I was down there, it was just like I was in Rosedale with all the homeboys. It just wasn't no win. And that's how a lot of them get out and go right back. Because it's just like growing up in the project. All your homeboy down there, you're still doing the same thing. You're still sitting around telling lies, janking. When you come off your little job and do what you get together, domino check or whatever they do, and your folks sending your money, all that money down now. They sneaking your tennis shoes in. You're still trying to be on a fashion show with sending them necklaces and watches and all that type of stuff, smuggling all that type of stuff in for them. So they really ain't left the street. The people on the outside make it easier for people to go back to prison by the things they do for them while they in there.
So then, so DeAndre, you saying right now, even a young group of kids that saw that video and thought this was the most inhumane, the gross situation they could ever see, they will feel right at home.
A lot of people there, a lot of people live in those conditions right now. I understand. A lot of people, we don't like to talk about that, but it's a lot of people. You go in a lot of people's house, a lot of people living under those same conditions right now. And a lot of them end up in prison.
That's true.
A lot of them end up in prison. Like I said, when they get in that first dorm, them first dorms almost always gonna look like that. Because that's them don't care. They checking out on their phone squad. They had an attitude, what else they gonna do to me? I already got to check out. And I've been in there, before I got myself together. When you get pissed off, when the administration do something, and only thing you can do, you flood the toilet stools, tap stuff. I mean, there's all types of stuff going on in there. And like I said, I'm not taking up for the Department of Corrections because it is some inhumane stuff that go on in there. But as far as that dorm being looking like that, okay, everybody can get if it's that inhumane with the supplies that you got, why not clean it up? It's because the attitude we had was, it's my house for the next couple of years. So we kept our spot clean. But it's that other generation again. It's just like it is on the street. Things are changing out here on the street. Things are changing in the prison. They got that same mindset in the prison that I don't care. This ain't none of mine. Just like our children feel like this ain't my house. This ain't my. They don't want to clean up. They got the same mentality in the prison. Same mentality. It's getting worse out here. It's getting worse in the prison.
So what do we do? Separate yourself from? Do you just separate yourself from the situation? Move out. Black flight.
The only thing you talking about for the prison with the prison, the only thing you can do is the same thing we trying to do out here. Change the mindset. So the guys that's in that dorm, their mindset gonna have to be changed. And then you can't do nothing about the people sleeping on the floor. Like I said, you got people in the metro and the county right here sleeping on the floor because it's overcrowded.
True.
And I don't know how it is now, but when I was in prison, one of the things that we did, we got into that. You going to get into that law work. You go in the law library and find out things. It really was, at the time I was in there, it was illegal, really, unlawful for beds to be stacked up on top of each other, be stacked up too high. When you see beds that stack too high like bunk beds, that was already a sign of overcrowding. But they didn't bother. I've seen guys fell off the top bunk and filed lawsuits. But those were the ones that knew better. So, you know, it always have been overcrowded. Because you got some prisons, they got them 3 high.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of that.
But at one time, you know, like I said, I don't know what it is now, but when I was in there, it really wasn't lawful, but you know how things go with when it comes down to inmates and stuff like that. It is what it was.
So in other words, let's sum this up. The conditions that we saw or seen, a lot of people find it to be humane, but it can be better based on the people that live within that dorm.
Yeah, like Daniel said it good. He said he knew exactly what dorms it was because he knows the mindset of those that be in those dorms. So what he really actually was saying was all of them don't look like that.
True.
And that's how it was at Draper. All the dorms didn't look like that. I already pretty much figured out that that's the farm squad dorm, or they want them dorm where they put everybody like an alcohol fool on drugs, this, that, and other, troublemakers and all that type of stuff. And they don't kill.
Would this video help, in your opinion, would that video help change the mindsets of some of the young people?
Nope.
That's going in the wrong direction right now.
Nope. You can't scare them. You can't scare them. When I was in there, after I was there for a while and my name got around, when I changed my life around, they started taking me I started going and speak at this program called Scared Straight.
Mm-hmm.
I went to that program before I went to prison. They used to come to the school.
Right.
I seen them at Parkview. Mm-hmm. I seen them at Central.
Right.
But I changed that whole dynamic at Draper. When after the first 2 times that they said, well, I got somebody that y'all need to take down there and talk to them, I didn't never go down there and try to scare them. They used to be all up in their face, hollering at them, this and them. I didn't take that approach. I talked to them about how I got down there, same way I do my videos on Facebook now. And that got their attention. I got better results than all of them. They stopped all of them from coming in there. I used to be the only one they take to speak to the program. They ended up taking me to go to, I went to a college twice. They took me to detention centers. They were taking me away from the prison out to go and speak. But I didn't use that scare tactic because you can't scare these kids. You ain't finna scare them no more. Some the better of them, you might can put a little fear in them. But these children ain't scared of that. They ain't scared of that.
They ain't scared of police. Ain't scared of going to jail no more. So,
you know, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. I didn't want to go back because of, not that I was afraid out of all the stuff that I seen. I wasn't there Daryl, I hadn't put when I got down there, I got in the dorm. I hadn't even unfold my mattress and put my bag down good. My homeboy was coming in there, you know, and I heard a ruckus going on. Look over, there was a fight broke out. Man got his neck sliced with a razor. When he turned to run, seemed like his whole neck opened up. Blood everywhere. I was there 5 minutes. Only thing I can say, man, what I got myself into. Started back talking to my homeboy. Guess what? I grew up around that type of stuff in Rosedale. So, I mean, like I said, it's just like growing up in the projects in the prison. That's how a lot of these guys get out and go right back. Because they still they still in there selling dope. They focusing on all that money. They ain't turned the streets loose. because they just use the things that's in prison. They changed the name of a carton of cigarettes when I was in there was called a key, like a key of cocaine. That's what you call a carton of cigarettes. That's what you traded for, like cocaine and cigarettes. You still will violate going in other neighborhoods that you ain't supposed to be in. Be in the other folks' dorm, police pull you over, give you a ticket, get a citation. It's the same stuff. So a lot of them get out and go right back because they didn't learn nothing about themselves. The prison ain't finished getting that out of them. Because it's an environment that they grew up in.
So, do you think yourself and several other previous felons or convicted prisoners could change the mindset of a I've seen Tim Robinson. He did an excellent job. I witnessed him coming to alternative school and giving them the roadmap. Seriously, the roadmap of this what's gonna happen if you don't get yourself situated. I seen this and I witnessed this, and that's why I have a whole lot more respect for him, because sometimes you got to keep it real. You can't just go in there and be educational, like talk to them in a certain way and don't think they're gonna understand. Some just don't understand that way. But he actually gave them the roadmap. And out of this group of guys that I seen that he was talking to, some in prison right now for capital murder, not just murder, capital murder, which means they're gonna either be put to death or in life without. So I understand.
With things like that, what Tim do, and things like what I do, the biggest thing with that, you can capture somebody's attention, because my attention was captured before I went to prison. The thing is being consistent, being in a position where that person can be consistent with it, and then it have to be working with the home as well, because you talking to a person and put something on their mind, and then it's sending them back to that same environment.
True, I can agree.
You know what I'm saying? That's just like yeah. I mean that's it. You sending them back to the same environment. That's just like with our children. Sometimes we got a baby mama that's not or a baby daddy that's not on the same page as you on, and when you send them over to their house, you got to deprogram them when they come back.
True.
And okay, so that's just like if I deprogram one, if I go to the school and I talk to them and I say something that capture their attention, and then they got to go right back to the same environment.
Hearing the cursing and witnessing the drinking and the marijuana and the cocaine, the crack being used.
The whole 9 yards against what you said that captivated them
8 hours ago.
Program.
8 hours ago. 2:45, you were told this was wrong. This is not the way to go. You can be living in this environment and you can be a successful citizen in this community. But once 3:30 got there and you go back home, and he witnessed the soda, the baking soda, the crack cocaine, all being baked right there in the household and being used or being sold. So the programming of what we just said at 2:45 no longer registered at 5:45.
See, I remember coming up. I remember places like the Genesis home that was out on the UA. I think it was out there on the UA, stuff like that. See, places like that where you have the child for a while, then the parent, you have to get the parents involved. You see what I'm saying? But the teaching got to be different. In my opinion, the people who they had in those places didn't have what it takes, didn't have the right right mindset and the right tools to give them to be more successful when they got out the Genesis home and out the juvenile detention centers and stuff like that. See, the people who in them got to know the right thing to teach. They got to be able to talk to their hurt, their pain, the things that they done been through. You see what I'm saying? And then you got to be able to give them a skill to not return to their old life. Because, like I said, you take something from these kids, you got to give them. They're selling drugs and out here stealing and robbing. You take that from them, then what you gonna replace it with?
Because they're not
so
on.
You got to be able to give them some type of skill to be able to make some money.
They said the average reading level is probably 3rd to 6th grade of the individuals that are in prison.
But guess what? Even with that, you got a lot of people that got skills. My mathematics skills is not good. I'm not the best reader. I'm not the best speller. You see what I'm saying? Book wise, I'm not a good student book wise, but I can do just about anything. I got skill. I built my skills, so that's how I survive. Because if I hadn't turned inward and found and got in contact with the skills that I have, the ability that I have, and found that confidence in myself to not be afraid. People ask me all the time, how you able to do this? How you able to do that? I'm not afraid. I've overcame the fear to try. Once I got a hold of that, I ain't have to have all that book fancy. Most, if you really look at it, most of the greatest people who have lived and did things, it really wasn't those who've been to college and had PhDs and all that type of stuff.
Good point. Once again, if you'd like to join the conversation, 205-826-7661. Or Mike, I forgot yours. He didn't take it down from. I see
205-310-6067.
I see Stacey Hellum at joining in. Renato Span, how you doing? Thank you for joining in. Lakeisha McKinstry, how y'all? If you'd like to join the conversation, David Evans Sr., how you doing? Join the conversation, 205-826-7661. One other question, DeAndre. This violence that we're going through now, as you said, it's not going to get any better. It's getting worse. Once again, what do? Separate ourselves from what we're living, where we're living now. In other words, you see working class people that probably are beginning to move northward, I would just say. Even though they can't afford a $300,000, $400,000 house. But to get out of the city limits, and that's what I call the black flight. We already had the white flight, so now we're talking about the black flight. And the black flight are the individuals that, I guess you can say the middle class individuals. They're rather scuffle than to live amongst this type atmosphere or this type environment. What's your take on it? Do we interject or demand to interject more ideas that we know will work, or listen to people that think they know what will work? And I'm gonna give you an example of what I mean by that. The mayor has the and you might be a part of the committee, I don't know, the Unity Project, Community Unity Project. From reading it, all it does is bring the Barnes YMCA, the para facilities, Pride, or different mentorship programs under one umbrella. But there again, I do not see anything that addresses the issue of going into the communities where the issues are taking place. Like, for example, I don't know how many people saw the video of the young ladies fighting on Facebook last night in Crescent East. They got the whole road blocked. right in the intersection. And I ain't talking about 10 people. We talking about multiple of at least 25 to 50 people waiting on these two young ladies to fight. And when they did fight, the police arrived and they attacked the police.
I saw it.
What do we do, man? Do we just let them continue to live in this type of barbaric environment? Or do we interject something to go in there and say, hey, this is not how we want this to be? This is not, and you keep, and I heard you use the word projects or housing, but that ain't the mindset. All of them have to have. You change, I change. We all grew up in the pro. I tell people proudly, hey, I grew up in Rodale. I grew up in Robinson Garden. I grew up around McKenzie Court. But it's decision making process. This decision making process that we got to.
What caused you to change there? And I'm gonna tell you what's caused you to change.
Let's see. Now you talking about the change for his lifestyle or choices?
Lifestyle.
Well, you stay right in the back door from me. I could throw a rock to your house.
That's right.
So the environment, we both grew up in the same environment. It just, and your grandmother and my grandmother all had the same authority to do whatever we had to do, for its punishment. But I think it was the choices. I seen the United States Navy Reserve Center right across from Rosedale. That made an impact to me, and I became a part of the United States Navy Reserve. But I wanted to be successful, and I seen the Navy as a part of something that I wanted to be a part of. Just seeing them walking over there with their white uniforms on. Ooh, I want to be like that. I want to, in car riding up and down 10th Avenue. Ooh, that's my car. I'm going to have that car one day. Stuff like that. Those were the dreams that I seen 10, 11 years old that had an impact on me. Now, that might not have an impact on you or another person. Just to name some, William Baker, good friend of ours, James Baker, two brothers in the same household, different outcomes. So I think it's the choices that individuals make, not necessarily the environment. And some people bow down to the peer pressure, but some don't. That's how I see myself. Now, what made the change in you?
What made me change? What made me begin my process of change was when I changed the way I viewed myself. When I believed I was nothing, I wasn't gonna be nothing. And I'm gonna say this plain. When I was thought what I had been fed all my life, nigga ain't shit. When I viewed myself like that, that's how I treated myself, and that's how I treated others. But when I changed the view of myself, when I learned who I am, how valuable I am, how powerful I could be, when I learned when somebody was able to get that in me, it sent me on a journey to become that person. But before then, I didn't see no value in me. So if I couldn't see value in me, I didn't see value in nobody else. And guess what? Those were the things that I heard all my life. Those were the words that were fed to me all my life, up until that point. And guess what? I internalized it. And that's what's happening with a lot of these children. They internalizing what they hear all day, every day. Now I'm gonna go to the book for one point. Now we're looking at what's going on in the communities. thing that's going on in the lack of knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of self, knowledge of God, knowledge of the devil, knowledge of who you are, how powerful you are. Once people view themselves better, guess what? The best thing I did for Tuscaloosa was change myself. Change the way I seen myself. That's the best. Self-improvement is the basis for community development.
Say that
when
again.
We can get people to take another look at themselves, see themselves in a different light, then they can see somebody else in a different light. But if I ain't shit or nothing, nigga can't be shit. If he look just like me, he black like me. And those are the eyes that these children looking at each other at.
In other words,
that's the language that we use.
They don't see shit. They don't feel that they gonna be shit and can't get shit.
That's right. That's the mindset that they have. That's what we got to go up. See, you can build. People can move far as they want to in Tuscaloosa. They move all to the outskirts. Guess what? This thing growing.
Almost definitely.
The children are getting worse. So guess what? It's gonna come to a neighborhood. It's still gonna come back. See, if you build a city and don't build the people, the minds and the hearts of those in the city, what's gonna happen to the city? You can beautify this whole Alberta. You can beautify the U8. You can beautify that coming up the street from Rodale. You can beautify all the way, which they really ain't beautifying them, but the stuff that leads to the stadium. But that's another topic. But if you beautify all of this and you don't rebuild the minds of the people, what's gonna happen? They're gonna tear it down. They're gonna make it ugly.
Be destroyed.
So all the money is going into beautifying the city, but you're not beautifying the minds and the hearts of these children. It's not going into educating these children on who they are and teaching them skills. A lot of these children will change if you change the way they think about themselves, and you give them an opportunity. You give them an opportunity by giving them a life skill, a way to make some money. I wanted a way out the dope game, but I didn't know how to get out. I wanted a way out the project, but guess what? The only way I thought you can get out with the mind that I had was the dope game. But guess what? It ain't did nothing but help me stay in there and help produce a future of the same type of behavior. But when we glorify, when that's what's made to appear to be what's happening, you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize that the dope, they homeboy, that they glorify is our houses. I was destroying families. I was taking food out of the mouths of women, children, and babies. But guess what? The one who had the money, he would lift it up. But I was destroying the community.
Yeah.
A community that my grandma tried to help build up.
You the first ex-dope dealer I heard ever owned up to that part of their crime.
Yeah, what? Because after I found out who I was and really truly was right. See, in this world, right made you look wrong and wrong made you look right.
Amen. Amen.
Yes, amen. Amen.
So when I got that mindset to be able to cipher, this is how it's supposed to be, and not that. I had to be, like they said, I had to be brainwashed. My whole brain I had to be reprogrammed, and it didn't happen overnight. It ain't gonna happen. That's what we get frustrated because we think it's gonna happen overnight. It's not gonna happen overnight.
That's the thing I was just gonna ask.
And you got to talk to the ones who it has been effective with, and this is who you got to find out the ones who like myself, and I ain't put myself up on a pedestal, but you got to talk to me. You got to talk to me to see what it is that made me change. Because guess what? It can help somebody else change.
That's true.
You can all the ones who have made significant and meaningful change in their life and being successful, you got to sit down and talk to them. Because there's another child, there's 50 more Deion Duns out there. There's 50 more Tim Robinsons out there. There's 50 more of Darren McKinstry's out there. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And when you identify, okay, this one like Darren, then guess who you send to him? Darren. This one would like Tim. Then guess who you send to him? Tim. This one would like Deion. But guess what? We don't like to do that because we get into the I.
Mm.
So we think so I think I'm the only one that can fix Tuscaloosa. But I can't. But and when we get in that mindset, then we attack anything that say something different than Deion done.
Mm.
And then guess what? Guess who get lost in the midst of it? The children, the youth, the program, the effort. They get lost.
I gotta applaud you. Like I said,
And
you're the first one
I've
I've
man
ever
in the
heard.
Bible he did everything. Everything God did him, then he spoke independent. He used that eye and it destroyed his opportunity to go in that will. And that was Moses.
You're the first one. You're the first one to this day that admitted to the destruction of families, lives, children. I mean, what you said, the effect of your dope dealing selling affected mothers that might even produce children that are not ADHD or whatever kind of deformity they might have had. But you're the first person I ever heard admitted of the the results of what your wrongdoing did. A lot of people don't see it.
That's one of the reasons why I post the way I post. I talk the way I talk. Because I helped did this. Somebody helped did it to me, but I helped did it to me. I passed it on. I was one of the ones that some of these young guys looked up to. I was one of the ones that some of them guys that came from decent home, were doing pretty decent in school, that saw me driving them cars with the can and paint job and the rims. I caught some of their eyes and then triggered them.
Mm-hmm.
But until we get them to see things as they really are and not as they appear to be, they're gonna keep going down that same road. But you got to get them, and a lot of times you can't do it in a group set because the book also say pride goes before a fall. So I might say something in a group meeting that touch one of them, but they ain't gonna want to say. Like right now, I spoke at this movie. She did a thing of stop the gun violence at the park. I spoke at that.
Mm-hmm.
When I got through speaking, got to clap this and that, but I ain't from the young boys that I talked to. I didn't get a thank you, and man, you touched me. You said something that made me think I appreciate you for what you said until I got home in my inbox. Cause pride wasn't gonna let them say that to me in front of their homeboys.
Mm-hmm.
So it ain't always good. You can talk to them in a group setting, but that's not where you're gonna get your greater results. Because we still got that image that pride go before a fall. You still got that image that you got to try to keep in front of your homeboys. You don't want them to know that you changed. And that's why a lot of people won't change, because they scared for other people to know that they changing, or that they want to go a different route, so they stay in their life. I got people like that. You got a lot of children out there just like that. They don't want people to know that they want out.
Mm-hmm.
I want it out, but I had an image. D.L. man, you said that to D.L. he gonna knock you out in school. You know they finna take that. That pride come up, then you do something stupid. You don't think about it till you get in the office and all them going back to class, and you sitting there with your head down because you know you done messed up. Now you can grieve a little bit. Ain't nobody looking. Man, I done messed up.
Yeah.
But soon as class, that bell rang for class to change, and they passing down the hall, you sitting up like ain't that wrong, like you don't care. This same thing you doing right now. But if you don't know that, if you ain't experienced that, you won't know it when you see it. And the fairy tales and all of you just, like you said, you got to teach these children with absolute truth. We ain't got time to play around with them. You got to give it to them, bro. And giving it to them raw don't mean you just got to do a whole bunch of cussing. That ain't just because you cuss. That don't mean they identifying with you. I don't do all that cussing when I speak to them, and they identify with me because guess what? I still speak their language. I put it in a way that they can understand. Some of the hardest of the hardest, and they see me on the street, they'll come up to me with tears in their eyes, man. Keep teaching. Keep doing what you're doing. You think people ain't listening, man, but people listen.
They are. I see Johnny Willard had chimed in with us. How you doing, sir? Thank you for chiming in. Once again, if you feel like you'd like to join this conversation, you can call us 826-7661 or 310-6067. And I think David Evans said something, Dion, that your platform is not large enough to meet the people that need. In other words, I think what we're saying is the people that need to hear the stories or hear the platform, we can't get to them. Somebody
you know what, Darryl, and I'm gonna be honest about it. You know why? I would have a bigger platform. More people would work with me if I got rid of my ex, and I'm not finna do that. If I denounce Minister Farrakhan, and I'm not finna do that. Because guess what? That's what changed my life. That's who taught me how to be a man. That's who taught me how to treat a woman. That's who taught me who I am, what my aim and purpose is in life. I'm not going to ask nobody I work with to deny Christ, to deny their faith.
Right.
To work with them. I can work with them. I don't care what your religion is. I don't deal with labels and titles. But because people don't like the way that mainstream society or people in high places view Farrakhan, they stay away from me. But they can't now one of them ever came to the program or spoke somewhere and dogged them, talked to them any kind of way, or said something that was false. I'm not gonna do it. That's why I don't have a greater platform.
Well, you know the movie Malcolm X. I guess his early part of changing, calling the white man the devil and being in the attack and defensive modes. That's all some people took in on that. But some people, nobody took in the fact that he was a peacemaker.
See, it was things like that are purposely misprotected.
Yeah.
See, that's just like when Malcolm said, by any means necessary, we want freedom, justice, and equality.
Mm-hmm.
See, they said he was violent. Right. But if you looked at what he said by any means necessary. If it's necessary for us to sit down and talk about this thing, if that's what it takes for us to get freedom, justice, equality, let's do that. Mm-hmm. If we got to go another step, let's do that. And the end result is that if you're not going to give us freedom, justice, and equality, we're going to either separate from you or we're going to go to war. our future, we're going to get freedom, justice, and equality by any means necessary. If you give it to me at point A, I won't have to go to point Z. But they made that seem like he was violent.
Mm-hmm.
But that be purposely, but they know what he was saying. People purposely put stuff out there when they don't want they don't want that. They don't want that unity for real. The things that'll work when people even okay, if that's what, if they really wanted that, then okay, well, Martin Luther King didn't represent himself like that. What happened to him?
Assassinated.
So it's really not what the person is saying and what they teaching, is who they trying to pull. They don't want you. They people forever want you to be a fool and a tool. The people who have the ability to make a difference, they either label them troublemakers or agitators. Race baiters. But guess what? That's the same thing they said about Jesus. You tell the truth about it. Do the research. He was an agitator, a troublemaker.
That's correct.
But that was to the powers that be. They didn't want to change.
Very interesting conversation tonight. We talked about the conditions that we saw in the video. We have Mr. Dion X on the program with us, sharing his views of how those conditions could have been set forth and why. Because I can't tell you, I saw what I saw and that's what I went with. But hearing it from a person that been there, worked there, kind of enlightening the situation. But there again, if you ever get a chance to watch the video and read the 500 and some X different comments, like I said, you have some people on one side saying humane, inhumane, and some saying, what do you think the prison was like? And so, in other words, they say it's acceptable. Those conditions are acceptable. So individually, what Dion X is saying, it takes an individual effort. In other words, Dion, you need a family of to change the mindset of some of the people that we need to change. The way we do it at our church over at Beulah, the pastors sometimes assign different people to be friends or become friends of individuals. Say, accordingly, if you're a husband or wife, you join the church. Well, you try to assign a couple to be friends likewise. Trying, and pretty much like what you said earlier. If there's an individual that was coming from jail or prison, and we have individuals that been in that particular situation, he tried to assign those individuals to be mentors, to tour or try to change their mindset of going back or returning back. And it works sometimes. That works, helps. Putting individuals with individuals that they can relate to. And in some circumstances, you don't put individuals that not ready. In other words, a ex-drug person, and here's a person that came from rehab. You don't want to put those two together too fast because what? There's a potential of a setback between the two.
Mm-hmm.
But I do see what you're saying. That's a great way to look at it. That's a lot, but like you said, it's nothing that can change overnight. Matter of fact, you can't do it in 6 weeks. Matter of fact, you can't do it in months. Sometimes it takes years of mentoring One individual. In other words, I could walk through Central High School right now. No, I'll take. I'm gonna use the young man we had on Mike, Cam, DJ Cam.
Mm-hmm.
He might have a mother and a father figure in his life, but let's just say that would be someone you say, hey, I want to mentor him to be a DJ, but you ain't with him at all times, and as he grow older, it tends to be with other people, different individuals, listening to different. One DJ might have it this way. He might say do it this way, but you might say, hey, the best way to do it is this way, and he has a decision to make.
There's another scripture I'm gonna give you, Darren.
Come on.
It said the sins of the fathers are passed on to the children, even into the third and fourth generation. See, the sins that we done passed, the sins that's out here now, it's gonna take, in a lot of cases, generations for it to get settled. The damage that have been done. And that's the part that we really, like Daniel said, I think what Daniel said is years of deprogramming mindset.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to start now. We got to get a base laid and start now. Some will change quick. Everybody don't change at the same rate. Even with the same teaching. Just like all the planets is rotating on their axis and spinning at the same rate, but they don't make their orbit around the sun in the same amount of years. But they get that light that's causing them to spin is coming from that same sun. Everybody ain't gonna change at the same time. Everybody ain't gonna change overnight. Everybody ain't gonna get it as quick. That's why we gotta have patience and a solid program, and we gotta stick to it.
We got on the phone with us, Mr. Kyle Porter. Mr. Porter, you got something you like to add?
Yeah. I mean, he said it all, basically. But I want everyone also to know this about Bill Cosby. He was doing exactly everything that Brother Dion was saying about him going out and teaching. One of the main reasons I believe they wanted him off the scene because the last few years, maybe 8 or 10 or more, he was doing stand-up from a chair. His stand-up wasn't about jokes primarily. They were about the black people as a whole. Trying to talk to the younger people, the younger black group, how they're living, what they're doing out here in these streets. They didn't like that because he was still selling out shows and he was sitting in a chair the whole time. And they wanted to put a stop to that and they couldn't figure out a way to do it. But yet they figured out a way and they got it done. They wanted to destroy his character, which they did, which is their primary set out to do, to destroy his character and have black people turn against him, which a lot of black people did. And I hate that. Maybe people may have their different views, but that's what I saw. Whenever you can go back and Google his stand-up and watch it for yourself, he was telling black people, young black people, everything he was saying today, talking them straight up, look, you got to get out from stands, you got to get educated, you got to get out from the streets, you got to stop selling drugs, you got to stop drinking. That's what he was telling them. He wasn't beating around the bush, he was being straight up with it. And like I said, he was selling out shows. And they did not like that. So the power of the be got together and they put a stop to it.
So how many people think it's actually the system that we have in place that is making our people the way they are? In other words, do you think the system has failed us in teaching and raising our own children?
Emphatically, yes. And we have failed ourselves. Because we don't pass on information the way we used to. We don't teach. It was a time. I remember it was a time when the mother taught the daughter how to dress, how to talk, how to communicate, how to cook. When the grandmothers did the same thing. Knowledge was passed down. Once all that stuff got cut off, we got cut off. We don't pass on. See, now they don't have the knowledge to pass on. I put up a post earlier today, and it was talking about how I can't remember, as I was thinking about my childhood while I was sewing on some seats. I said, man, I can't remember one time anybody talking to me in depth or a true conversation about being a man. But that's what it was expected of me. That was what was expected of my behavior. I can't recall. And if somebody did, the conversation wasn't significant enough for me to remember it. So we expecting these children to be men. We expecting these young boys to be responsible, to be men, to be maintainers, protectors, providers. But who's teaching them that? Some of them ain't never heard of that before. You sit down and talk to them and ask them what their definition of a man is. Same thing with the young sisters. So now they don't have anything to pass on. And people going off of what the streets say a man is. What the streets say power is. What the streets say being loyal is. What the streets say a woman is. Because it's not being passed on. What family is. All they know is the street definition of family.
Eat at my house and I eat at yours. I got your back. I got your back. Some of the comments I see when I made this statement about the system, they said the system is doing exactly what it was designed to do.
Exactly.
Patricia said the system is gonna say it again when they gave kids the opportunity to call the police when being disciplined at home.
Mm-hmm. That was a key. Yeah. That was a key. And another key was when they took the man out of the home. For you to get some assistance, could no man be there.
That's right.
All this was systematically done. That's why it's called a project, a government project.
So that was the experience right then.
There it is. A government. See, we don't look at what words mean. We don't know what words mean. We say words all day, every day, and don't know what they mean. That was the project. It was a project, and it has been successful. Same thing, Daryl. Same thing. Going back to the book again.
Mm-hmm.
Try to make a long story short, but the children of Israel, it's the same thing going on right now.
It makes it so easy for you to stay in the project too. In some cases, like I know some people that have been in the projects and they don't try to get out. Like they actually have like decent jobs. They're not trying to put the together anything to get out the project.
Mindset.
So
it's because of how they view themselves, because of how they view what a house is, what a home is, what got it made is. See, in the teaching I came from, I said welfare spelled backwards. Change the words around. What it says? Farewell to self-respect, self-esteem, self-motivation. That wasn't happening. We think that's good. We think that's good living. We think that's good living. You ain't got to work, and you can get. You see what I'm saying? You can get this many. You can get $800 worth of stamps. You just think about this. We trying to tell them to get a job, but the working folks come to the line with a grocery bag with a few items in it.
Mm-hmm.
They got 2 bags.
Yep.
Now see, I know that mindset because that's what made me didn't want to work, because I seen my daddy working 2 jobs. I ain't had nothing to show for it for real. Then I seen that dope boy across the street. You see what I'm saying? So, and then I was on the job with my dad a lot when I was young. Then I seen how they talk to him. I seen the injustice up in them. And that's what a lot of young folks see. They ain't crazy, they see the injustice. I seen how them folks talk to my dad, and he ran that place. I seen how they paid him. I remember him almost broke down and cried one time because he found out the young white dude that he was training. He loved my dad so much. My dad respected him so much. He was young that he came to my dad and told him how much they were paying him. They were paying him. My dad was training him, and he came in making more than my dad. He had been there 5 or 6 years. Ran the place. Me witnessing that, I said, and that was the young folks saying, I'm not going to be a part of that. I don't want that.
But they don't have skills, Deon. And I don't see anything wrong with a little hard work every now and then.
You're right. But get back to the book again. If they train a child up in the way that he should go, when he grows old, he will not depart from it. Now, if you go look up the word train and see what all come with that, part of it is teaching them a skill.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do that no more. We don't teach these children that. We give them everything. Guess why? Because I don't want them to be like it was when I came up. I know my folk were hard on me, and they ain't got to do that now.
Look, we all say it. I said it before, and I'm pretty sure.
You know that? I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
And then when you see the damage that it does, it's almost too late. But that's the mindset.
Yeah.
We don't want them to clean up. We don't want them to cut the grass. We don't want them to do nothing. But I had to go out there and cut the grass with a lawnmower and have a motor on it. Had 2 tires and spades. Had to go over the yard twice.
Well, I'm like Mayor Langford when that even everybody in the household had a job in my house, even the goldfish.
It ain't like that now. You spend the night over somebody's house. When we were coming up, get what? If they clean, when somebody spent the night over our house on the weekend, when I got up to clean up, they had to clean up too.
Yes, sir.
You over here, they had to help clean up.
Yes, sir.
But now, because we felt like our parents were mean now, but because we didn't see the value in it. Now we let the boy go. Get on out my face. On, I got it. Soon as if they act, they do it a little bit too slow, we'll take over. And get what? They knew it.
Mm-hmm.
If I go slow, I know he gonna make me go. Well, we think like that too, but we couldn't get away with that. I don't care if it take you all day. You better not come out of that till it's clean. That's what we got. But now, get on up out of here. You about to pluck my nerve. and they know it. We were smart. Any hole we found when we were coming up, we went through it, and the children not doing the same thing. But we give them too many holes because we don't know the value in what we was taught. Because we listen to the way other folk raise their children.
More than right. That's the thing what you just said. We had to find the hope. They just giving it to them.
Yeah. We trying to raise our children the way other folk raise theirs.
Yep.
But guess what? Not realizing that the ones of them that were raised right most of the time was our grandmas and they have cleaned up raising them for them.
Yep.
See, we ain't know little Johnny was talking back, cussing their mom out, all that type of stuff that went on in them houses. All we know was they got cars, they got a nice house, they got this. So we want to do like that. We want to be like them. So we abandon all our principles and start adapting, taking on other folks' principles. And then what happened? Now what was in their home is in our home. Yeah. But now when our children do what other folks' children do, we go to prison, they go to rehab. We go to prison, they get house arrest. We go to prison, they get suspended sentence. We go to prison, they get ankle bracelets.
Once again, real life conversations tonight. We got to, I don't know why I couldn't post it today, but 2 years ago, July the 20th, 2019, showed up on my timeline about we hosted a gun buyback. It was stakeholders in the communities, churches, Tuscaloosa Police, Northport Sheriff Department, West Alabama Narcotics. We all had a joint venture to, take excessive guns off the streets. And during that time, 95 guns were purchased. And I was going to post, of course, there's going to be pros and cons of anything. Some people saying by you buying the guns and you violating people's Second Amendment rights. Then you some saying if you buy the guns, what are you going to do with them? But we started having these gun violence crimes taking place. I think we had a shooting, which might have been self-defense today at the Ramada Hotel. I think we had a shooting and some reports of a shooting of a church, shooting inside of a church. Just shooting it, just using it for private, I guess, for private target practice. Do you think we should have another gun buyback?
Every little bit counts, Bill.
And
there's always gonna be somebody who don't see it that way. Even though they gonna bring you them old guns, they ain't gonna bring you them new ones they buying out here now. You ain't gonna get them guns that they got in their trunk that's supposed to be over in Baghdad somewhere. They ain't gonna bring you them.
True.
They gonna bring them, but guess what? People get shot with them old 38s and 9mm.
Yes, sir.
Because it started at every stage. Everybody can't afford one of those, so every little bit counts.
I agree. Every effort, even, and I applauded the preachers that went over to Hay Court and started the effort over in the area of Hay Court to stop the violence. But me and you both know this is a everyday. That's an everyday event. That's an everyday job. You can't just be cooking hot dogs today and go on the next one. Somebody got to stay. Somebody got to stay and do the work in that vicinity.
And it has to continue.
One thing I can give the efforts of the police department when they assign housing officers in those communities. You built a rapport of the police and the people knew who they could trust. If there was a problem, they would call you or beep you and say, "Hey, there's a problem. Somebody's standing on the corner doing this or doing that." But it was a consistent effort. 6 days, 7 days a week, somebody was in those project areas to try to maintain basic living conditions. And we got to get back to that.
Correct.
We got to get back to it, then. We
every angle. You got to hit it from every angle.
Like yesterday in Crescent East, and like I said, I hate I lost the video. That one never probably took place. Not what I saw. That probably would have never took place the way I saw that took place. Blocking the road, like they own it.
And you look at that. If you look at that video there, guess who the majority was out there?
Women. Young women.
And get what they say. A foolish. I'm gonna say this right here. A foolish woman produces a foolish nation. Those were the mothers of our future.
Yes,
so a great deal of the work not only got to go with the young boy, it got to go with mothers because they are the teachers of our children.
It's 10 o'clock. It's after 10. Great conversation. Appreciate the conversation with you, Dion.
Yes, sir.
Trying to see what the score is to the game and see if my prediction was right. Is it over yet, Mike?
I don't think so. I can't really tell you. Well, Porter, you probably got the game on, right?
Well,
actually not. I'm actually in South Carolina right now.
I'm seeing 84. I'm seeing 84-82, fourth quarter with 9 minutes and 45 seconds left with the Bucks leading. So it's a 2-point difference. It don't take but one. Great conversation, good teaching. Yeah, we're gonna have to go ahead and address religion. That's gonna be another statement to come up soon, I guess you can say, and we'll have you on the program because religion teachings has a lot to do with the training of the children. Some people still don't believe taking their kids to church. So they don't understand the teaching of the Bible or can relate to it. But that's a conversation. That's a whole nother conversation. We're going to have to come back on and talk about religion. And I'll share just a quick bit. Not that I studied, but just say I read upon different religions, Muslim, Baptist, Presbyterians, Catholics, Jehovah's Witness, all styles of religions and AME, CME, and different religions, and everyone has their own different guidelines and stuff. We're gonna come back to that conversation probably next month because we got some things we got to continue to talk. You know, I'm through for the night, Mike. Let's see if the Bucks can pull it on off to end this whole NBA thing and get ready for the weekend. We'll see you on Thursday. We will have on the program with us a guest of the program. Miss McKinstry will be on the program with us this Thursday, talking about the issues. If you get a chance, there will be the women's league hosting a forum. It's a virtual forum on Thursday at 7 o'clock. I think it's on YouTube, and we'll probably broadcast on Facebook. So we'll probably have it on here also. So that'll be with Mr. Lanier and Miss McKinstry for as our local politics go. I want to say I read something about $1,000 check, stimulus check might be on the way, but I ain't gonna start that conversation, Mike. We'll get a whole lot more listeners when we start talking about that money coming.
Yeah, you right about
Oh, yeah.
So hey,
I heard 2,000.
See, don't start it. Don't start it. We finna go, Mr. Porter. We finna go. Mello, take us out with the commercial breaks, and we'll see y'all after. We'll see y'all on Thursday at 8 o'clock.
All right, yeah, appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank y'all for calling.
All right.
All right, fellas.
Hello? Hey, Rick. I had to call you to tell you that the food that you brought to the party last night was wonderful. It made me think about my grandmother's cooking. Where did you get that food, brother?
I went down to Thomas Rib Shack to pick up the ribs, but when I got there, I seen that they had more than just ribs. I seen baked chicken, fried chicken, corn muffins, vegetables, apple pie, peach pie, and I looked around and I seen a sign that told me that they got chitlins and oxtails on Sunday. Oh. All I can tell you, go down to 2931 15th Street or just give them a call like I did at area code 205-759-5010. Thomas Rib Shack, Tuscaloosa, Alabama.